latest video has gone viral on TikTok. Let's watch the clip first. It reveals not just isolated risks, but a global challenge facing the entire Web3 ecosystem.
In 2024, over $40 billion worth of digital assets worldwide were identified by leading institutions as contaminated funds.
Cool.
According to Chainalysis, nearly $40 billion in stablecoins have been flagged as tainted funds. Reuters and the Financial Times reported that EU and US sanctions have already led to billions of dollars in frozen digital assets.
So, the authoritative Chainalysis 2024 report points out that over $40 billion in digital assets were flagged as tainted funds in the past year. It's not just Chainalysis. TRM Labs stablecoin risk research indicates that 40 billion in stablecoins alone fall into high-risk categories. Reuters and the Financial Times report that actions across multiple countries have led to billions of dollars in assets being frozen. Meanwhile, the UN Security Council Financial Security Report reveals that national-level organizations can access $1.3 billion in digital assets annually. These figures from international institutions and media collectively indicate that this is not just isolated cases, but a structural gap. At the same time, we must recognize the global influence of stablecoins. Recent research shows that the number of active stablecoin users has reached tens of millions to over 100 million, especially in regions like Asia, Africa, and Latin America, where stablecoins are widely used as key tools for everyday payments, cross-border settlements, and fund circulation. In other words, stablecoins have become the global base currency of Web3. These data suggest that tainted funds are not a marginal issue, but a core contradiction within Web3. They directly impact the acceptability of stablecoins, smoothness of cross-chain transactions and payments, and confidence of users and institutions.
PE, the essential backbone of Web3's future. PE is rebuilding trust in Web3, defend decentralization, defend the dignity of every individual's wealth. PE, born to protect.
On-chain, any asset that becomes associated with high-risk accounts can be flagged as tainted. This triggers a chain reaction. Users' transactions may be rejected, assets may be frozen, and values can vanish in an instant. The real issue is that trust is eroded. Even widely used stablecoins cannot remain immune. In traditional finance, systems like SWIFT and clearing institutions ensure the reliable global circulation of assets. Web3, however, still lacks such a privacy-preserving clearing layer. It is precisely the absence of this layer that introduces structural risks, even for widely adopted assets like stablecoins.
In the on-chain world, any funds once linked to sanctioned or high-risk accounts can be marked as tainted assets. The result? Transactions rejected, assets frozen, value evaporates instantly. When tainted funds become a global crisis, the answer is not more blacklists, it is new infrastructure.
I believe the emergence of PE is not merely an embellishment, but a necessity. Its three core values are state attestation, before an asset enters circulation, verify its trustworthiness to address the question of is it safe to accept? Worthiness to address the question of is it safe to accept? Risk isolation, once a problem is detected, block it locally to prevent the risk from spreading across the entire network. And clean reissuance, through attestations, restore the qualified asset to a clean state, allowing it to return to normal circulation. These three mechanisms are especially critical for global base assets like stablecoins. Stablecoin users span the globe, with different economic systems, legal environments, and technology stacks. The significance of PE lies in providing a cross-chain, cross-border, and cross-application trust framework, allowing assets to circulate across different chains with a unified trust label, enabling protocols to quickly recognize the cleanliness of assets, and increasing user acceptance and reducing the probability of passive rejection. In other words, PE does not belong to any single chain, nor does it rely on a single application. It is meant to serve as the global trust foundation for the entire Web3 ecosystem. If tainted funds are eroding trust, then the mission of PE is to restore it. This is an inevitable choice of the globalization, or in the race for globalization of Web3. It is not the preference of any single project, but a fundamental question for whether the entire industry can move towards mainstream adoption. Thanks for watching. I'm not a financial advisor, and you should always do your own due diligence before investing into anything in the crypto world. But that being said, I will see you all in the next video.